back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Dana White, El Jefe himself, has came out and said if George St. Pierre makes a UFC return, it won't be against Conor McGregor. And you know when Dana White says something, it goes. Dana White also said that George St. Pierre would be defending his middleweight title versus Robert Whittaker, but we all know George St. Pierre was diagnosed with colitis, which prevented him from not only defending his middleweight belt, it prevented him from even fighting at middleweight ever again, as George St. Pierre vacated his title after beating Michael Bisping at UFC 217 Madison Square Garden in the main event, beat Michael Bisping, won the title, got colitis, vacated the title just one short month later, and now Dana White said if GSP does make a return from that, it's not going to be against Conor. It's not going to be the money fight he wants, because this is what Dana White's saying. He feels like he got played. He feels like GSP played him. He said he ain't fighting Conor McGregor. If he wants to come back, the UFC welterweight champ Tyron Woodley or Robert Whittaker, the current middleweight champ, is waiting for him. They're both waiting if George wants to come back. Of course, a middleweight. Could you come on? Any middleweight in the world. Just hear me out. Anybody that's at 170 pounds, whether you're a middleweight king or a middleweight fucking contender, it don't matter who you are. A welterweight. If you're at 170 pounds, of course you would want to fight Conor McGregor, a 155-pounder, over Tyron Woodley and Robert Whittaker, the fucking two big dog champions. But Dana White's saying, no, you're not getting it. I'm not going to fucking let you come take out Bisping. You came in and told us you were going to defend the title, and now it's looking like you just did a cash grab. And Dana White also said that in this article. He said, man, I had a feeling he was going to do that shit. That's why I put it in his contract. You must defend versus Robert Whittaker, and lo and behold, he still found a way to weasel out of it. And that's weird, because it's not like he found a way, right? He got diagnosed with colitis. You couldn't have predicted that, right? It's pretty shit. All right, another topic for another day. But Dana White has said, yo, if he comes back, he's not getting the, because a lot of people think it's going to happen, yo. It don't matter if Dana White says it or not. And that was a joke when I said we all know what Dana White says goes. Dana White, he says stuff because he's the fucking promoter. He's got to say some stuff. Or what would it look like if he came out and said, yeah, GSP, you guys remember him from 4 years ago? We're going to let him come cash grab, fight Michael Bisping, and then he's going to vacate that title, and then he's going to come maybe do another super fight versus McGregor. Y'all down? No, we ain't fucking having that. Honestly, if that was the case, if we knew that George St. Pierre was only going to fight one time at middleweight, and he wasn't going to fight Woodley, wasn't going to fight Whittaker, I would not have wanted to see his ass fight Bisping. What are you talking about? You know how many people wanted Bisping's neck? You know how many people wanted to fight Bisping? You know how many middleweights deserve to fight Bisping? I mean, I know I don't like using that word because in the UFC that word doesn't really mean much, but you had Yoel Romero, who was a #1 contender, who had a lot of a rivalry with Bisping. He would have loved that fight. You had Robert Whittaker, the interim champion, who would have deserved that fight. You had Tyron Woodley, who's been chomping at the bit, fighting Wonderboy twice. Damian Maia waiting on a super fight. He would have, so with that being said, Dana White is saying he won't be getting another super fight. He came, he fooled us once, and you know what they say, fool me once, shame on me. Or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So he's not going to let him fool him twice. But with all of that being said, George St. Pierre's next fight could be against Conor McGregor. It'd be the biggest fucking MMA fight, the biggest UFC fight. You remember how many people paid attention to fucking Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor? It'd be like that, but all the attention would be on MMA. You'd have every single old school MMA fan, every single casual new school MMA fan, all combining into one huge pay-per-view, and all the attention would be on the UFC and MMA. You wouldn't have no boxing promoters, no Floyd Mayweathers, none of that. All the attention would be on our beloved MMA UFC. So that is why this would be such a fucking huge fight, and that's why I'm kind of rooting for it, because I want the sport to grow. I want to see the UFC be legitimized. I now say that. You have to sacrifice some to get to where we need to get. We all want to see the rankings matter. We all want to see the best fight the best. We don't want to see these entertainment CM Punk fights and, the UFC Ultimate Fighting Circus. We all wanted to go back to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, where the best guys fight for the title. but we might have to sacrifice a little bit of that for now in order to make these Conor McGregors versus Floyd Mayweathers, the Conor McGregors versus GSPs, to get all of the to get the fans, bro. We got to get the eyes on the sport, and then we'll worry about the rest. But if no one's even watching the sport, it doesn't matter how legitimate your sport is because no one gives a fuck. So with that being said, GSP versus Conor McGregor still, no matter what Dana White's saying, might very well happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. We all know Conor's got an interim title or an interim champion in Tony Ferguson. It's looking like that's the next fight, Conor versus Tony. But Conor McGregor could get fucking colitis. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it looks like. Anything could happen. It could be an injury. Conor McGregor could get arrested. Conor McGregor could get in a fucking bar fight with the mobster. He could be, he could be in divorce court tomorrow. We don't know what's going on with Conor McGregor. So, of course, we would love to see him fight the interim champion. And if the sport was 100% legitimate, that would be the fight. And according to Dana White, it's not going to be GSP. But all of that pointing to Conor versus Tony really don't mean shit in the grand scheme of things. We could still, doesn't matter what's being said here. None of it. Throw it all to the wind. It could be Conor versus GSP, and I got to admit, just from growing the sport standpoint, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, and people like to say, oh, they're only doing it to fucking line their pockets. They all just want cash grabs. That's not necessarily true, man. You can call it a cash grab, but it's not just a greedy move. It's a good business move for the sport. And if you love MMA and want to see MMA grow, the UFC grow, and you want to see it legitimized, you're going to have to take some of this. You know what I'm saying? You got to take some of the punches and roll with it. With that being said, it is what it is. Dana White said if George St. Pierre does return to the UFC, he's got some killers waiting on him, Tyron Woodley or Whittaker. He ain't about to just get to powerbomb Conor McGregor in the octagon because he's a dominant grappler, dominant wrestler, 170-pounder, and he knows Conor McGregor's a former featherweight. Do you guys know what would happen if that... Bro, I'm talking about... You remember the powerbomb, right? Boom! Boom! Just, I'm telling you, Conor McGregor on the motherfucking mat. George St. Pierre could do that type of shit. Real life WWE. That's exactly what would happen if the... Boom! Motherfucking on the mat, bro. Maybe through the mat. Dudley, get the fucking table! I'm just saying, you get the point, man. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you talking about in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G!